In this video, you'll answer GED questions covering important skills like analyzing political cartoons, identifying bias, reading maps and data, and understanding key ideas from the Bill of Rights. Let's see if you can answer them all. Read the passage below titled, "The Fourth Amendment in the Digital Age," and analyze the political cartoon to answer the following question. Which statement best summarizes the main point of the political cartoon in relation to the passage? This is a great example of a reading for meaning question in the GED Social Studies test. Now, the passage tells us that the Fourth Amendment protects people from unreasonable searches. But modern digital technology has raised new questions about whether police need warrants to access private data on cell phones and cloud servers. The political cartoon shows the tension between privacy rights protected by the Fourth Amendment and modern government digital surveillance. We see a citizen trying to protect his private messages and personal data behind the shield of the Fourth Amendment, while a large government surveillance machine, representing modern digital technologies, attempts to break through that protection. Overall, the cartoon raises the question of how the Fourth Amendment applies to digital privacy in the age of modern technology. Now let's go through the answer options. Option A says, the government has eliminated the Fourth Amendment from the U.S. Constitution. That's incorrect. Neither the passage nor the political cartoon suggests that the Fourth Amendment has been removed from the Constitution. The passage shows that the Fourth Amendment still exists, but modern technology has created new legal questions about how it should be applied. The cartoon also shows the Fourth Amendment still standing as a barrier, under pressure, but not disappearing. Option B says, modern technology makes it impossible for citizens to communicate with one another securely. That's incorrect. In the political cartoon, we see a citizen believing that his messages are protected, while government surveillance technology appears to challenge that belief. However, the cartoon does not suggest that secure communication is impossible. The statement in option B exaggerates the cartoon's message. Option C says, citizens may assume their digital privacy is protected, but government surveillance technology pushes the traditional boundaries of the Fourth Amendment. That's correct. This statement matches the message shown in both the passage and cartoon. The passage explains that the Fourth Amendment traditionally protected physical property, but that modern technology has raised new questions about digital privacy and whether police need a warrant to access electronic data. Whereas the cartoon illustrates this idea by showing a citizen believing his private messages are protected, while a large government digital surveillance machine appears to threaten that privacy. Together, they suggest that new technology is challenging how the Fourth Amendment is applied in the digital age. Option D says, the Fourth Amendment applies strictly to physical property, leaving smartphone data completely unprotected by law. That's also incorrect. The passage says that courts are frequently asked to determine whether the Fourth Amendment protects digital information such as cell phone data and cloud storage. This means the law is still being interpreted, not that smartphone data is completely unprotected. And the political cartoon also raises the question about digital privacy rather than claiming there is no legal protection. So the correct answer is therefore option C. Citizens may assume their digital privacy is protected, but government surveillance technology pushes the traditional boundaries of the Fourth Amendment.
Before we move on, I have a gift to help you finish your prep. Our full GED Social Studies course includes 50+ lessons and questions needed to actually master the exam. It's a structured, step-by-step roadmap that we don't post here on YouTube, and it's 100% free. Don't leave your score to chance. Grab the full course in the link below. Now, let's dive back in.
Below is a famous photograph known as the Migrant Mother, showing a woman named Florence Thompson with her children. She was identified as a migrant farm worker in California. The photograph was taken by Dorothea Lange in 1936 during the Great Depression, which lasted a decade from 1929 to 1939. If a newspaper in 1936 described the woman as lazy and unwilling to work, how would that statement best be described? This question tests your ability to distinguish between facts and opinion-based language, a necessary skill to pass the GED Social Studies test. So let's take a look at the image. The photograph shows a woman looking worried as she gazes off into the distance. She has her hand against her face, while two children lean on her shoulders and a baby rests in her lap. The photo symbolizes the hardship and poverty many families faced during the decade-long Great Depression. Now let's go through the answer choices. Option A says, neutral reporting. That's not correct. Neutral reporting uses objective, fact-based language. However, calling someone lazy is not neutral. It's a one-sided opinion that shows bias. Option B says, factual observation. That's incorrect. The photo shows no evidence she was lazy and unwilling to work. A fact would be something you can clearly see, like the woman looks worried, or she is with her children. There is no fact showing the description from the newspaper. Option C says, historical evidence. That's also incorrect. Evidence is something that helps us understand the past. The description lazy and unwilling to work is not evidence. Rather, it's a biased opinion that doesn't explain her real situation. Option D says, biased and unfair language. That's correct. The words lazy and unwilling are opinions, not facts. They are negative labels that judge the woman without real proof. That makes the language biased, showing only unfair judgment instead of being neutral. So the correct answer is option D, biased and unfair language. Read the passage below titled, The Reason for the Bill of Rights, and a table titled, Major Categories of Rights Protected by the Bill of Rights, and answer the following question. Based on the passage and the table, which of the following statements best explains why the 9th and 10th Amendments were crucial to satisfying anti-federalist concerns? This question tests your ability to analyze historical events, a necessary skill to pass your GED Social Studies test. Now, the passage tells us that during the ratification debates, Federalists and Anti-Federalists disagreed over whether the Constitution provided enough protection against government power. Their debate focused on individual liberties, the limits of federal authority, and whether additional written protections were necessary. This debate eventually led to the addition of the Bill of Rights to the United States Constitution. In the table, we see three groups categorized in the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment, the legal and judicial rights in the 4th to 8th Amendments, and reserved rights in the 9th and 10th Amendments. These three categories come with the protections they offer and the key historical concern it addresses. Now let's go through the answer options. Option A says, they guaranteed that freedom of speech and religion could never be limited by state governments. That's incorrect. The passage tells us that the Anti-Federalists were concerned about protecting freedoms such as speech and religion, but it does not say that the 9th and 10th Amendments protect those freedoms. And according to the table, the freedoms of speech and religion belong to the First Amendment, not the 9th and 10th Amendments. So the statement in option A is not the correct answer. Option B says, they created a legal framework to allow the Federalists to reject future constitutional amendments. That's incorrect. Neither the passage nor the table mentions anything about allowing Federalists to reject future constitutional amendments. This statement introduces information that is not supported by either source. Option C says, they required law enforcement officials to obtain warrants before conducting searches of private property. That's also incorrect. The table identifies protection against unreasonable searches and seizures as part of the legal and judicial rights in the 4th to 8th Amendments, not the 9th and 10th Amendments. This makes the statement in option C wrong. Option D says, they addressed fears of overreach by ensuring that powers not explicitly given to the federal government remained with the states or the people. That's correct. The passage explains that Anti-Federalists feared the federal government might become too powerful. The table states that the 9th and 10th Amendments reserve unlisted rights to the people and undelegated powers to the states or the people. These amendments directly addressed the Anti-Federalist concern that the federal government could expand its authority beyond what the Constitution intended. So the correct answer is therefore option D. They addressed fears of overreach by ensuring that powers not explicitly given to the federal government remained with the states or the people. Below is a map showing the fertility rate by U.S. state in the year 2022. The fertility rate is the number of live births per 1,000 women ages 15 to 44 in a given year. This map was generated using certified figures from the Center for Disease Control, CDC, database. Which of these states had a fertility rate above 60.0 and is the highest? Now, to answer this question, let's go through our answer choices and find the states that have been provided their respective fertility rate on the map. Option A says Kentucky. Note that the state abbreviation for Kentucky is KY. So let's find the fertility rate of Kentucky KY on our map. So when we look through our map, we see that KY has a fertility rate of 61.1. This fertility rate passes one of the requirements in the question. It is above 60.0. Now, before we can confirm if this option is the right one, let's go through our remaining answer options and compare. Option B says New Jersey. Note that the state abbreviation for New Jersey is NJ. So let's find the fertility rate of New Jersey NJ on our map. So when we look through our map, we see that NJ has a fertility rate of 58.7. That's incorrect. This fertility rate fails one of the requirements in the question. It falls below 60.0. Option C says Oregon. Note that the state abbreviation for Oregon is OR. So let's find the fertility rate of Oregon OR on our map. So when we look through our map, we see that OR has a fertility rate of 47.3. That's incorrect. This fertility rate fails one of the requirements in the question. It falls below 60.0. Option D says California. Note that the state abbreviation for California is CA. So let's find the fertility rate of California, CA, on our map. So when we look through our map, we see that CA has a fertility rate of 52.8. That's also incorrect. This fertility rate fails one of the requirements in the question. It falls below 60.0. Thus, the correct answer is option A, Kentucky. It passes both requirements in the question. It is above 60.0. And it's also the highest between the listed states.
Before you go, don't forget to grab your free complete GED Social Studies course so you can pass with ease. This offer is exclusive, so you have to use the link in the description or the pinned comment. You won't find it just by browsing our website. Grab it now while it's still free. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you soon.